Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, leaders of Ogoni land say they are ready for cleanup of their community. Applauds President Muhammadu Buhari for taking the step. The President directs the CBN, NNPC and other agencies to maintain a common Treasury account. 14 passengers die in a road accident in Ogoni State. And 5 United Nations workers and 8 others killed in Mali following a siege by gunmen at a hotel in central town Saad. Tonight, with the cleanup of the Ogoni land ordered by President Muhammadu Buhari to fast-track actions to implement the United Nations Environmental Programme UNEP report on the environmental restoration of Ogoni land. Some community leaders and residents of some of the affected areas have applauded the President's resolve, saying they are ready for the process. Our correspondent Emmanuel Ereye visited 2 of the most affected areas in Sisioken, Ogali in Eleme and Korokoro in Thai local government areas of River State to assess the level of degradation.
This is Korokoro community in Thai local government area in River State. The residents here tried to make a living from peasant farming in an area which they say had been ravaged by years of crude oil pollution. This is where the journey of crude oil exploration began in Ogoni land.
For more than 3 kilometers.
This resident takes me to some of the polluted sites.
Here in Korokoro 3, the pollution drives everybody out. And we have not been drinking water, we have not been farming. For some years now, everybody out of this place. So we want the government and the federal government to come and clean the Ogoni and clean Thai and clean Korokoro for us and do proper cleaning.
The president of the Supreme Council of Traditional Rulers of Ogoni tells us that the presidential order for the cleanup of Ogoni land is a dream come true.
First of all, I want to thank God for that. And I equally want to thank Mr. President for keeping his promise to the Ogoni people, to the traditional rulers and the entire people of Ogoni. During the campaign tour of Mr. President, we, the traditional rulers headed by me, decided to invite him to Ogoni land. Our people said, anywhere you don't have anybody, you cry to God. And we cried to Mr. President that day.
Some residents of Nsisi Oken or Gali say they are the worst hit.
The level of benzene in Nsisi Oken is above 900. So that's where we are now. That is the seat of the benzene area. And the residents around here, one, they don't have good water. We've been living with this before UNEP came in to conduct their report. And now the level of impotency in Ogali is very, very high. Death rate is also high.
But my advice to Mr. President.
The leader of the community, however, cautions that the process should not be hijacked by desperate politicians.
I thank Mr. President for approving the plan as it is in the books. But Mr. President needs to be very, very careful on looking at the Ogoni men and women who will be involved in the actual implementation, so that these lofty ideas and bold step of his will not be sabotaged.
But how feasible would the cleanup exercise be?
If you look at the area of the land contamination, cleaning up those land will make the land come back for agricultural use, which, you know, agriculture provides greater amount of employment in terms of labor intensiveness. So that will also provide employment generation in Ogoni. Apart from that, those land will now be able to provide output, and that will contribute greatly to the economic growth of the country.
As the UNEP report is implemented for the restoration of Ogoni land, some say the exercise should be elevated above political and sectional interests for it to achieve the desired results.
May 29th, 2015 was the last time the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, was seen at the presidential villa in Abuja. But the ex-leader returned at the weekend to meet with President Muhammadu Buhari. A source told Channels Television that the meeting between both leaders held at night and lasted for about an hour. It is not exactly clear what both men discussed, but there are strong indications that the leaders tried to examine the ongoing corruption investigation of the former president's men. Channels Television, however, gathered that after the meeting, both men parted, chatting and laughing. Also, at the weekend, it was reported that former President Olusegun Obasanjo visited the President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa. Paying into Treasury other than the approved by the federal government is now an offence. This is because President Muhammadu Buhari has directed ministries, agencies, including the CBN, NNPC, NPA, and NIMASA, among others, to make payments into a single Treasury account. According to the federal government, this directive is meant to promote transparency and facilitate compliance with Section 80 and 162 of the 1999 Constitution. Other agencies are the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Nigerian Communications Commission, and Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN. Also included are the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, the NCAA, and the Department of Petroleum Resources, the DPR. Meanwhile, the Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has dismissed reports that the present government is witch-hunting former President Goodluck Jonathan's administration. Professor Osinbajo was speaking at an event in Ogun State where he said that the justice system in Nigeria is being reformed to make every Nigerian accountable, irrespective of class, tribe, or influence. He says that Nigeria cannot continue to lose the nation's resources to corrupt Nigerians while the country remains in penury. He insists that the current fight against corruption is not targeted at any group or persons. According to him, quote, "We are talking about our future. We're saying we must put in place a clear strategy. Going forward is not just about ensuring that people are made to pay for looting. Our system of justice must be fair, that anybody who does anything is brought to account. We cannot allow impunity. It's not about previous governments." End of quote. The Christian Convention Center in Edo State has come alive again 24 hours after security agents attempted to forcefully eject them and take them back to the northeast. When Channels Television visited the Christian Convention Center this morning, most of the displaced persons were in jubilant mood.
This is the present mood at the International Christian Center camp in Uhogwa, Edo State. Internally displaced persons rejoicing again, barely 24 hours after surviving an evacuation attempt from their newfound home. The overseer of the camp, Solomon Folorunsho, says he knows the origin of the recent troubles facing the facility.
This politician, when he came here, I didn't know the party he belonged to, and I didn't even know he was a politician. He came as Pastor Osaye Izeyamo. That he heard about these children, that he was moved to come and contribute. And that he promised the children that he was going to bring his friends to join him to contribute, that he loved them, that they are welcome to Edo State. Now, that was all. After that incident, that's when this crisis started. And some people told us that, look, it is because this man came. And from all the investigations and interrogations I have gone through, I was able to glean that also. That, okay, this is the reason they are dealing with it.
On the fate of these displaced persons, Pastor Folorunsho explains that the camp was legally established with a mind to help the needy.
All these documents are with the security agents. They've investigated us before. We submitted everything long ago. If you look at our main objective, look at it, to assist the needy in the society. Somebody that is in need of a home, somebody that is in need of education, somebody that is in need of food, shelter. We decided, okay, as Christians, it's our job to provide this for them. Whether you are from the south, north, west, we will do that.
For the first time since 2013, the right of the International Christian Center for Missions to harbor internally displaced persons is in question, and the stay of the children at the Uhogwa camp is now being threatened.
In part 2, after the break, we'll have more on the internally displaced persons. I'll be joined by Ahmed Souley, the Secretary General of the Arewa Consultative Forum. He joins us shortly after this break. Stay with us.